doing this video because lots happening and kind of going back to the simple things of faith. I always do this when presented with a period of introspection, presented with a period of trials, and presented a period when I have to look at the religious community I'm in. Now, I've journeyed a lot in my life. I've spent a lot of time with Chen Buddhists, a lot. That's Zen Buddhists here in the West. But Zen would be a Japanese word. Chen would be Chinese word. Or Pure Land Buddhists. I've also spent a lot of time with them. Probably Pure Land Buddhists the most. I've spent time with Muslims. I've spent time with, journey with many. I went to Shabbat on and off for 25 years. And then we went into a deep study of Judaism for the past 5 years. Until about maybe 7, 8, or 9 months ago, we returned back to the church. And were received with a general confession. And we really didn't wander far, not really. But my daughter is very happy in the study of Judaism, and it just appealed to her. She's still, learning about, why there's such a heavy intermarriage between Jews and Catholics, and any other groups. But maybe I would say maybe Episcopalians might be a second. But the things that happened to us in the Christian community was silent. It really affected her. She doesn't have the theological background that I do. So I can compartmentalize it. She's just a kid. And I think that stuck with her. And the scientist in her, she reminds me always, she said, I would easily not have, I would not have doubts, and I would easily give in to your argument if I could see Jesus' bones. She said, otherwise, she said, I believe in him, but I don't see how God could come down in the man, so he must be different. She's taking not a monophysite approach, it would be I don't even know if that would be a Gnostic approach, or maybe a Nestorian approach. Could be a Nestorian approach. But anyway, so this has affected her. But she's still starting to love the liturgy, so that's good. That's good. It's starting to grow. So the seed of Chrysostomos has been, I will say the seed of the faith of Chrysostomos has already been planted. No, I like it. The dualistic nature of so the rest, Desis takes time. Sometimes it takes a lifetime. And some would argue it always takes a lifetime. Wow, you want to stop there? Yeah. Just dive right in. Okay, just dive right in. But if I'm out of the equation, I don't know what would happen to her, bringing up in the faith. I don't know what would happen. And you tell me. What, me tell you? You're the good side? Yeah. But her mom's not. We're no longer together. She has a new guy, and I don't think she practices. She's fallen away from the sacraments. Whereas it's something we used to do all together. We went to reconciliation together. We went to confessional so many times. I mean, not in the same one, but we go together when we went to mass. Um, but anyway, so I'm just reevaluating things, and I'm thinking of all the things that have happened to us where the Christian community was silent, or some even participated. Some used their positions, whether doctors, nurses, lawyers, judges, police, to either gaslight us or to hurt us. And I've come back to the position where I was 5 years ago, and I think, why I don't blame Jesus, but I think it's that we've allowed Christianity, even within the church. Well, Orthodoxy, they approach catechesis differently. But in Catholicism, you've got a book. It's about, 2,000 pages? No. I think the catechism is 500. I forget. I think it's 500 to 2,000 pages. I forget. Because the past few copies I've had, they're all digital. So, but I think the hardcover is like 500 pages, I think. But we moved away from that, and we, Eastern Christians, we approach things differently than Western Christians. Eastern Christians, it's a spiritual journey, and that requires a losing of the self, desis, obtaining that divine spark that we were given, the good side that we were created with, Yetzer Tov, that good, that imago Dei. There's lots of different names for it. But losing ourselves and being deified, returning to that divine beings as we were made to be in the garden. And it's a process, but it's a focus on righteousness and holiness. Whereas in the Western Church, it's more of a focus on dogma and intellect and sanctification by avoiding sin. It's a different approach. So that being said, sorry, I don't have anything to put this in, this tablet. But that being said, I think it's really helpful that we went into such a deep study of the Torah, some of the Talmud and some of the Sanhedrin, some of the tractates. I'm sorry, Sanhedrin is one of the tractates. But, we really got it into things, in depth. And also, seeing Torah through the eyes of early Christians, how they would have approached it, and seeing how far we've gotten from it. How many people know anything from the catechism whatsoever? Even people that grew up in Catholic schools. Again, in Eastern Christianity, especially Orthodoxy, things are approached differently. But still, for those Orthodox that rejoined the See of Peter and became Eastern Catholics, and that go back and forth, believe me, I was one at a time in my life. We go back and forth. When there's no Eastern Catholic priest around, many of us will go to Orthodox churches. And, it's possible, very rarely is a bishop going to enforce you need a written letter from me. Generally, you just talk to a priest. If there's a primate there, you'll ask permission, but most of the time there isn't a primate there. So you will just, we can go to each other's churches. Just generally, you're supposed to tell the priest, and if you can get a letter from your bishop, that's even better. But as I said before, some of us go back and forth. But we've lost the touch with what is law. What are you supposed to do? People try to boil things down to simplistic memes or memes. Is it a meme or a mem? A meme. I don't know. I'm from a different generation. But anyway, people that are different meme, or mem, meme. I don't even know how to say the word. But people that are different gimmicks or mottos or viral videos. Things are much more than that. Of like a bracelet, what would Jesus do? Or a necklace, or a ring, or even prayer beads hanging from the rear view mirror. The prayer beads are for prayer, not for hanging around a mirror. And you may see in Saginaw, people will cut the cross off. It's just sacrilegious. And I'm not. Generally, you see it within certain religious communities. They cut off the cross. They say, "Oh, Jesus, he's risen from the dead and ascended into heaven. He's no longer on the cross." Well, that's looking at a very simplistic and very humanistic perspective. Because if Christ was Logos, the Word, the Word means many things. It means Torah. It means divinity. It means the words uttered at creation. It's many, many different deep meanings that all center on one point, the divine. If Jesus was Logos, then his sacrifice on the cross happens in the beginning and it happens at the end continually until such time as the new Eden comes to be. Then we will be fully deified and the new Eden will be here. So for somebody to be so simplistic and take a very obtuse approach to it, I find very disingenuous to the Christian faith. It's not a one-time event. That's a human perspective. From the divine perspective, it's an event that happens and is repeated in every moment, especially when it's recalled at the altar. And those of us from the sacramental churches, at any particular moment throughout the day, more than likely, I don't even know the statistics, but probably at least every hour of the day, or every minute of an hour, there's at least one sacrifice of the Mass taking place somewhere in the world. This is something that doesn't end. There's a famous priest that called this point the Omega point, or actually the beginning of the Omega point. That's Father Pierre Desjardins, a Jesuit. And he believes that the point of the Mass and the point of the renewing of the human race and us evolving into what we're called to be is something that's called the Omega point. And we're at the beginning of the Omega point, and it's been going on for a long time. The beginning of the Omega point was when Jesus was born. And the biggest jump, the biggest leap on the Omega point was when he died on the cross and was resurrected and ascended into heaven. That was the biggest leap along towards the Omega point. Well, that being said, I'm looking at all of these things because I see that we've lost a focus on what Christians should be doing and shouldn't be doing. People join gimmicky things, especially regarding my family. People, will bully or take part in, spreading something in social media, or take part in, bullying my daughter at the park, or, take point in trying to start some kind of an argument in a grocery store or something. Christians will do these things, or partake in them, or just ignore them, or laugh. We've lost sight, especially Catholics and Orthodox, and Quakers and Mennonites. We are people of conscience. Myself and my family have journeyed into all of those things. We are a people of conscience. People who practice Judaism, even the most liberal, Reformed, or Reconstructive Jew, still people of conscience. These are the places where my family has journeyed. Various family and extended family. We are all a people of conscience. All of these religions teach about conscience. And especially Quakers, Catholics, Orthodox. Statistically, Catholics and Orthodox worldwide give more to charity than anyone else. Catholics, Orthodox, and the Jewish community statistically give more than anyone else because they're people of conscience. This is not to say other people don't. Other churches don't. They do. But churches that also look on intellect and not just, life of the spirit or a good beat or a good dance or raising hands. They focus on more because our faith is also about the mind. It's about governing the senses, not giving into them, governing them, and using reason. Jesus was a man of reason. He didn't just open up the Torah and read it and then say, oh, okay. He was a man of reason. That's why he spent so much time in his shul, studying, in school, studying. So, where's that fire now? Us, people of reason, Christians of reason. That's the point I'm at now. I'm just looking at things and thinking, people that are involved in things that have happened to my family. And, not just us. We're just the face of a very, very large beast. There goes the washer again. Yeah, so much money lost. So much, just in 3 years.
Here I come. How do I look? You
But,
look like a regular crystal dove. Nope. Exactly.
Anyway, we're people of conscience, and when we, entertain things or we ignore things, it's very problematic. Very problematic in how we're presenting our faith. Very problematic in how we push people away, because people that are genuinely searching and genuinely in pain, when they see they're approaching a rocky shore, like most sailors, they're going to find another.